How's it going, everybody? This is Alex Caceres, and you're listening to Story of the Fight.
Our faces, our faces when that cuts in was awesome. We're just both all
Didn't expect that to happen.
That is
Oh,
hilarious.
man.
Well, hey, what's up, Will?
What's up?
Another week, a story of the fight. A little bit of a
Yeah.
different time than what we usually do. We usually try to do this at 9 a.m. Pacific time, 11
Yeah.
Central. But hey, today's Father's Day.
It's Father's Day,
Happy Father's Day to
Father's Day.
all the fathers out there listening. Thank you for tuning in to Story of the Fight. This is where we talk all things combat sports. My name's Ramiro. That's my boy Will.
What up?
And yeah, if you even remotely like our content, please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. Goes a long way. If you want to support the show, we don't try to sell you any crap,
No.
but the best way to support is just tell a friend. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there you go.
Just tell them, hey, check out Story of the Fight. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. And also, Spotify, Breaker, Podcast, Radio Public, Google Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Anchor FM, pretty much anywhere podcasts are found. And you can find us on social media.
Yeah, it's at Story of the Fight on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Reddit, YouTube, everywhere.
Doesn't get easier than that. It's just Story of the Fight everywhere.
Story of the Fight everywhere.
Yeah, if you can't find us, you're just not trying hard enough. You know what I mean?
And try to find us.
Hey, but let's get right into it because we're gonna cover this entire card, right?
Yeah, whole card.
We're talking about
it's
UFC
a lot.
Fight Night
Austin. Crazy card.
Oh my god, dude! From
Joe Rogan was there as a
beginning,
fan. How crazy!
I like it.
Yeah,
I like it. I know. It was nice to see him in the crowd, dude. The pop that he got when they put him up on the screen. Is there anybody bigger than Rogan right now?
I don't know. Not really.
Crazy,
I don't think.
Right? I mean, this is the Fear Factor guy.
I know. This is the dude,
It's nuts. Now he's like the new Oprah.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Dude.
But yeah,
dude
hey,
Oprah.
so the main event, we had Josh Emmett versus Calvin Kattar. This is a fight I was really looking forward to.
Mhm.
Josh Emmett, low key, one of the top fighters in the UFC, sitting at 18-2.
Yeah, I mean, well, because people kind of forgot because he's been out for so long, right? Because, man, Jeremy Stevens broke his face open, shattered the bones in his face when he knocked him out, and then he tore his ACL in the middle of his fight. So he's just been injured and recovering for so long that people kind of forgot that he was even in the mix. I feel like it's because he kind of got lost in the shuffle.
Because he's been fighting in the top 10 already for quite some time, and you don't really hear a lot of buzz around Josh Emmett.
Well, because up until this fight, and a little bit of this fight, but up until this fight, it's been a lot of waiting, feint the left jab, throw the overhand right, and that's pretty much all he's done. Just waiting for the overhand right. And when he lands it, he puts people out, but it's kind of a one-trick pony kind of deal. But it's gotten him very far, and that one trick is very good. But I think that's kind of why his wrestling is there, but it's kind of one-dimensional. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm just saying maybe that's why people kind of don't consider him as maybe one of the elites. It's because it's not flashy. He's not doing spinning wheel kicks and all this crazy shit. It's just overhand right. But he mixed it up here in this fight. He was not just an overhand right tonight.
Yeah. Man, Calvin Kattar, to somebody that after he went up against Max Holloway, everybody was wondering, how is Calvin Kattar going to be? He did the smart thing and took an entire year off, which I would like to see more fighters do, right? and he came back very strong against Giga Chikadze.
Yeah.
And I was still curious, like, are we going to continue seeing this Calvin Kattar up against Josh Emmett? So, what do you think of the fight overall?
Very good fight. It wasn't the crazy. I think it, by contrast to the whole card, it wasn't as like crazy as the entire card. But I thought it was a very good fight. I thought the decision was wrong, but it was a fun fight. It was a competitive fight.
Yeah, Josh Emmett corner didn't think it was wrong.
Like, you're up 4.
Well, they thought it was wrong because it wasn't 4-1 on anybody's scorecard.
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
man, I thought that was a little crazy how they kept on telling him. They're like, dude, you're up two rounds right now. And I was like,
Yeah.
I don't know.
In my opinion, that first round is a toss-up. That first round could have been a 10-10. If they gave him out, that first round was very much even. Second round, I thought Kattar took the second round. He started landing the jab a lot more, busted him up.
Mm-hmm.
And the third round, I thought Josh Emmett took that round. So I was like, man, this is a back and forth. Because I kind of leaned Kattar in the first round, even though very close. Second round, I thought, okay, Cater's finding his rhythm with the jab and making Emmett miss a lot. Emmett was trying to do that shuffle step, switch hitting.
Yep.
Right, left hook, right overhand, left hook, right straight, shifting as he's doing it. But couldn't quite get there until the third round. He started landing pretty heavy. And then I thought the fourth round, that's when Kattar started making those adjustments with the elbows. Because Emmett was closing the distance, right, trying to land that left hook, trying to land the overhand right, getting in tight. And Kattar starts throwing these elbows, massive elbows, spinning back elbows, landing his jab. But they gave it to Emmett. And I was kind of surprised. I thought 2, 4, and 5 went to Kattar. First round being a toss-up, third round being the only clear round for me for Emmett. What did you think?
I mean, I thought Calvin Kattar won the fight as well. Now, the thing, again, I always try to put myself in the judge's shoes, which is like, it's really hard to understand where these judges are coming from sometimes. So right before they started reading out the judges' scorecards, I thought to myself, you know what? Whenever Josh Emmett landed, those were heavy shots, and you saw, Kattar react a little bit more to him. Where I guess Kattar just peppered Emmett with the shots, a lot of jabs over and over and over again, and you saw Emmett continue to move forward. So I was just asking myself, man, I wonder how much that's going to play a role in the judges viewing this fight, where they're just like, okay, who's doing more damage, and do they view Emmett as landing the harder shots and delivering more damage?
Yeah. I thought Kattar did a very good job with his defense too. A lot of those big shots he was blocking before they actually got through. And then on top of that, I thought that the fight earlier, the Kutateladze fight, was a very similar fight where one person's jabbing, peppering with shots, the other person's swinging heavier and landing occasionally, not as much, but occasionally. But they gave it to the jabber. And then this fight happens, and they flipped it. And the weirdest thing is Chris Lee, the guy who has like the record for most dissenting opinions on split decisions, he gave Kattar round 2, which I agree with, and round 5, but not round 4. And I thought round 4 was the clearest round of the whole fight. It's like, how do you give him round 2, which was much more close, but not 4? 4 was like a clear Kattar fight, or Kattar round. Emmett didn't really land much at all that round. So it's like kind of bizarre. Like, how do you give him 2 but not 4?
Would you call Kattar a one-trick pony?
No, I think he knew here's the thing, man, I think he knew what he needed to do in this fight to beat a guy like Josh Emmett, and most of the time he did what he would have got the win. Like, it's crazy. Imagine you played a baseball game and you're like, man, I don't know. Do we score a run when we cross home plate, or do we score a run when we strike somebody out, or does a hit score us a run? Like, I don't really know what scores anymore. Like, imagine if they went into a game and didn't really know how to score, because that's kind of what happens in fighting. Like this is how you beat a guy like Josh Emmett. You stay on the outside. You shell up when he tries to throw the overhand because it's not going to do any damage. You jab him because you have the reach advantage, and when he does get in tight, you throw the elbows and you outstrike him in 3 out of the 2 or the 5 rounds. That's how you win the
Yeah.
fight.
The one thing I did like that Emmett did, though, the adjustments, he started ripping the body a lot more, too.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, there was that one picture, which is, I mean, nasty.
Yep.
Nasty body shot. But as far as like one trick pony goes, I don't think so, because I think he just did what he needed to do against a guy in this kind of a matchup. But like when you watch the Giga Chikadze fight, it's a different fight. He's not just jab, because I mean in this fight he threw maybe 5 kicks, but in previous fights he throws a lot more kicks. He mixes it up a little bit more. He used a lot of clinch grappling against Chikadze against the cage, So like I think he just did use the tools that he needed to use.
He
and
executed
he did it.
I mean, he's
he won
a
the fight.
fantastic boxer, man. He's a
Very
fantastic
good
boxer. His footwork's phenomenal, and he's just so technical too.
Well, he doesn't.
You very rarely find him out of position. His
That's
guard's
the
always
thing.
nice. Yeah, nice.
He doesn't
and tight.
overextend on the straight punches. Like he doesn't lean
No.
forward over his lead leg. Because if you do, you're going to get knocked out by Emmett.
Where you see Emmett kind of the opposite, where he does extend a little bit more.
But he has to.
And he has to, yeah. And so it was nice though seeing Emmett's game plan go up against Kattar's game plan in this case, because you know that they're both going to just try to stay in the pocket somewhat and trade some blows. But man, I just love seeing Calvin Kattar, how clean and technical everything is with his movement.
And his defense looked so good. I mean, a lot of these shots he blocked. I mean, by the end of the fight, don't get me wrong, his eyes were swelled up a bit and stuff, but man, his defense looked so good. Until he started ripping those bodies, that was the hole that he was open, and Emmett took advantage of that.
I mean, both of them were wearing it, man.
I mean, after the first round, Emmett was already bleeding.
Guy was busted.
Yeah. I mean, that's what happens when you get jabbed up.
It was a very good fight, though. Now this probably moves Emmett into 4th.
Somewhere around there, for sure.
Around there.
Yeah.
What does this do with Calvin Kattar? Who does Calvin Kattar fight next?
Yeah, it's kind of a bummer that he gets set back a little bit, but I mean, it is what it is. But I am excited to see Emmett kind of step into that top of the division. But I mean, you look at the guys, I don't think he really beats anybody above Calvin.
Really?
I mean, above Calvin, you have Yair, Ortega, Holloway, and Volk. And that's
tough, man.
Just the skill set that he brings. I mean, on any night he could knock anybody out, but 9 times out of 10, most of the time he's not beating those guys, I don't think.
I mean, do you think Calvin Kattar beats Yair Rodriguez, Brian Ortega, Max Holloway?
I think Calvin Kattar beats Yair. I could very much see him beating Ortega a similar way that Holloway beat him. I don't see him beating Holloway, and I do not think he beats Volkanovski.
Got it. I mean, we already saw what happened with Max Holloway, right?
Yeah. I just don't think he can bridge that gap.
Okay.
And Emmett, I mean, Max and Volk would love to fight a guy like Emmett, I think. And I think those go very well for them.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And, man, I would like to see Emmett mix in some of that wrestling. I continue hearing about his wrestling in his college days. They were talking about it as well leading up to. But by the way, you have Calvin Kattar and Josh Emmett. Not the most exciting guys. They don't have
very mild mannered.
And all these fights were getting finished so quickly that they had to keep on going to these fight promos. And it was the worst fight promos in the world. Where it's just Josh Emmett yeah, man, I just train really hard and I go to this recovery place in Sacramento. Yeah, it's pretty cool. And
they're they're showing him doing gardening at his mom's house that he bought her or something. They're
backyard. What is going on right now?
Meanwhile, people are just getting murdered left and right on the card.
But they had to go deep into the well for this one, man. Like
Dude, I
deep
mean,
into the
the
well.
prelims were over like 45 minutes before the before the main card
It was
started.
nuts.
It
It
just
was
kept
nuts. That's how
everyone was
good it
dying.
was.
Yeah,
All right, man.
great card.
Anything else on the main event?
No, that's it. I wish I wish Kattar got the win. I thought he won.
All
2,
right.
4, and 5. I'm
All
a
right.
Kattar truther, I guess.
You are. And we'll go on to the next one.
Yeah.
And speaking of truthers, so we have Kevin Holland versus Tim Means, Dirty Bird Tim Means. I know this was a
The
hard one for
Dirty
you
Bird.
because you're a fan of both of these guys. But we've
Yeah.
been Kevin Holland truthers. Go back
Yeah.
to the beginning of this podcast.
Yeah, literally the beginning of the show.
We've been talking about Kevin Holland.
Our first interview.
Yeah.
That was our first interview.
Yeah, with Derwin Lamb.
Yeah,
We
shout out
interviewed
Derwin
his
Lamb.
coach at that time, Coach D. And I mean, we've been preaching Kevin Holland for the longest time. One, I'm super excited to see him at welterweight.
Oh, it's so clear that this is where he needs to be.
This is where
It's
he should have
so
been
obvious.
the entire time. He looks lean. He looks ripped.
Yeah.
He looks even faster.
Yep.
One of my biggest questions was like, was he going to be able to maintain the power?
Mm-hmm.
He still has a lot of pop in his hands, man.
Yeah.
I mean,
dude, he man, and it takes two to tango, right? And Tim Means always just digs deep and starts throwing, and against a guy like Holland who, if you start trading with him, you better be tight, because he will find little holes, because he's wild too, and like he'll catch you in positions where you normally don't think someone's even going to be trying to hit you, and like Jacare,
Yep.
like Jacare's getting up in his guard and gets knocked out by a punch. Like, what the fuck? So like,
talking about a dream 1 second, the next second he's fucking putting your lights out.
Dreaming.
Yeah.
and so yeah, this fight, I thought Tim Means might be able to kind of hold him against the cage and grind him out. But ultimately I was like, man, Holland's fresher. He's younger. He's in this new weight class. He's used to grappling with guys like Thiago Santos, like big dudes. And so ultimately I picked Kevin Holland, but man, you get in a firefight with Kevin Holland, like especially at welterweight, you better watch the fuck out, because this dude's knocking out middleweights, and now he's in your division, and that's terrifying.
Sure.
And he'll be laughing and smiling while he's doing it.
And I'm seeing somewhat of a different Kevin Holland. He's not talking shit throughout the entire fight. Seems like he's taking this a little bit more seriously now. Not that he didn't before. He was still training his ass off before, but maybe having a little too much fun in the octagon. That's something I personally loved since the beginning.
Yeah, same.
But people were shitting on him because they're like, oh, he's talking too much. He's playing too much. Yeah, you liked it when he was winning, and now he has a couple losses, and everybody's shitting on the guy for it, But hey, it's just him. But you saw him kind of talk a little bit, and then he did the same thing where he says a couple of things, and then Tim Means smiles, and when he smiles, Kevin Holland's like, pat, like right in his face.
Yeah.
I was like, oh damn, man. But he still has a little bit of like some wild exchanges.
It's a little bit of wasted energy in the shots, right?
Yeah, but the thing I noticed is that like where before he did this thing where he used to like lean back and still keep on swinging heavy hooks, he was a little bit smarter on his exits. Like he was willing to exit and willing to wait for another opportunity to have some more exchanges instead of just staying in there and eating some unnecessary shots. Which I was like, whoa, this is different.
And,
I like it.
And not only that, but it's necessary, especially against a guy like Tim Means, because he will crack you as you try to walk away. Like the dude's a dog in there. He's the dirty bird.
he was still taken down a couple times, but showed a lot of urgency in getting back up. Did an excellent job in getting back up, and even then, he still stuffed a few takedowns.
Yeah,
and I think that in those moments where he starts having those wild exchanges, maybe midway through the first round or going into the second round, some of his opponents are able to read, okay, here comes a wild exchange.
Yeah.
And that's when they take the opportunity to try to take him down. They catch him off position.
Yeah, because it's easy. Yeah, it's easy, especially the way he would throw. Like you said, he did at least get out of position a lot more than he did in this fight. So yeah, you're able to just time it duck under,
Yep.
take him down while his feet are crossed or something, and
But dude,
didn't happen
overall
tonight.
though,
Is it
way
the first
better
submission win?
performance. Ooh, is
Got him with the
it
Darce. I think it's his first in the UFC at
in
least.
the
I don't think
UFC?
I don't think he has a submission yet in the UFC. I could be wrong.
Travis Luter,
Travis Luter, BJJ,
black belt. You know,
Ultimate
he
Fighter.
calls that out all the time.
Yeah.
No, but so this moves him to 23-7 now.
hmm
Oh, by the way, did you see all the drama that he had with this bookie or
Oh, I thought you meant the crime that he stopped the day before the fights because he keeps
he
stopping
stopped
crime.
another one?
Yeah, like a perfume thief or something at the mall chased him down and got it.
What?
It's like the fourth time now in like just 1 year.
What is it with this guy?
Yeah, everyone's like, call him the Darce Knight because he got the Darce choke. He's like
Oh, that's
Batman.
sick, dude. That's it.
Yeah.
That's awesome. No, but no, yeah, with Kevin Holland, man, I think if we continue seeing this evolution of Kevin Holland, and continues growing and finding himself as a fighter,
Yeah.
I could easily see him breaking into top 7, top 5,
Yeah.
maybe.
It's tough because while welterweight is clearly where he needs to be, I mean, look at him in this picture. Like the dude's ripped at welterweight, and he's not going to get held down by guys bigger than him because that was his biggest weakness clearly at middleweight. But the problem now is when you look at the top 5 at welterweight, there are some very heavy pressure wrestlers. So like once he does get to that top 5, because I think he is capable of making it there. It's tough going once he gets to that 5. Guys like Usman,
Bilal Muhammad.
Colby, Bilal Muhammad, like all those guys probably beat him with the wrestling pretty easily.
Ooh, can you imagine a Vicente Luque versus Kevin Holland though?
Oh, like that's an instant classic right there.
Oh my god!
I would love to see
fight
that
of the night right
Yeah.
away. But there's a lot of fun fights for him, man. Even breaking into the top 15, with like a Li Jing Liang, Michelle
Oh, that's a
Pereira,
good one. That's a
Steele, Jeff
great one.
Neal. Yeah, I mean, there's a
They
lot
fought
of
before,
really
right?
exciting fights.
Have they
I
fought?
want to
Did
say
they
they
fight
fought
in
Texas, in next KO, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, back in the day.
Back in the day, yeah, dude. So Kevin Holland, mad props. I love how he showed a lot of respect to when the Texas fans started booing Dirty
Yeah.
Bird, and Kevin Holland was like, "Nah, man,
Yeah,
don't boo this guy.
don't boo this
he's
guy.
legit."
I mean, they both after
don't
the
do
fight they were
that.
both cracking up. It was like the three of them, the ref and then them two were just cracking up together, and it's like, damn, you guys just went to. I mean, he was cracking Tim Means. He was cracking him in some of those combos. I love Tim Means, man. That guy goes to war every time.
Oh, dude,
One guy that had his
anybody
prime.
who listens to the podcast knows you're a big Dirty Bird fan.
They took his prime away, man. They took his prime
That's
away.
up.
Tainted supplements took him out for too long.
How long was he out?
I think like he was already out because they gave him 2 years. I want to say they gave him 2 years, and it was in the
Damn.
middle of the second year that they were like, "Oh, actually, our bad." And he was like, "Okay, I guess I'm back." Like, you guys
Damn.
fucked me. Like, thanks.
That's messed up, man.
Yeah,
That's
he was on a
messed up.
roll.
All right. Anything else on this one?
Nope. Love both those guys. Fun fight.
All right. Next fight we will be covering Joaquin Buckley versus Albert Duraev.
Wild fight. Sometimes Joaquin Buckley looks like a world beater, and then sometimes it looks like he has zero takedown defense.
Man, there was drama leading into this, right? I guess Duraev was saying, look at him. Look at this picture.
Yeah, look at Dan.
Duraev was saying that they used to be training partners, and the reason that he took this fight was because he thought it was going to be an easy fight for him.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
And then
that didn't age well.
And then Joaquin's like, what?
That didn't age well. Dude, how he was still standing after that first head kick.
This is the one here. He ate that clean. He ate it clean. Dude,
I mean,
this looked like someone who's like, I've trained with this guy a lot. This was like the flip of what Duraev thought. Like, Duraev thought, like, okay, I've trained with this guy. I know exactly what he does. I'm going to go in there, and I'm going to have an answer for everything he does. And Buckley's like, hey, I trained with you too, motherfucker. Like, I'm going to do that. And that's what happened. Like, This went for Buckley how Duraev thought it was going to go for him. You know?
And with Buckley, man, I like you said, they're both each other's training partners. So I wonder if Buckley thought like, hey, this guy's going to expect me to come in here and just throw hands. And instead, Buckley was like,
Yeah,
yeah, and just throwing
dude,
all these kicks.
this was illegal, right? But it happened. It's like one of those things where, like, like if you throw an overhand and I like am like turning to like shoulder into you or something, and you hit me in the back of the head, like that's technically illegal. But I was moving into it because like dude straight kicked him right in the face as he shot for that, that takedown,
Yeah, so
and
for
he had
anybody
a knee
that's
down.
just listening, it's a
Yeah,
picture of Joaquin Buckley that's kicking Uriah right in the face
yeah, just shin to
while he's
face.
down.
Yeah,
While he's
but it
down.
was one of those things where he was throwing the kick right as Drive was going down, so he literally went into it. So it's like,
Yeah.
is that a? I have no idea how that's supposed to
So
work.
it's not Joaquin Buckley's shin hitting his face. It's Uriah's face
Yeah,
headbutting Joaquin Buckley's shin.
exactly.
I mean, that's
I
on
mean,
him.
that's on him at that point, and I think that's kind of how they judge it. They're like, you shouldn't have shot there, dude. Like, but dude was getting cracked left and right, man. That left hand from Buckley, he was throwing it, dude. He was it. This looked, like I said, this looked like someone who knows exactly how somebody fights and has sparred with them a bunch of times. And he's like, I can catch you with this left hand every time you come in, and when you step back, I can catch you with the left high kick. And that's what happened over and over and over again, to the point where Durayev's eye was nasty. I mean, look at this shot. There was a moment where Buckley was just flow state, right? We talked about it last week. Flow state, when everything you're throwing is landing. And he like took a step back and he like did some shit with his hand. He was like, huh? And it was like, come here. And then he walked in and just like, ba-da-da, and then dropped him. And it was like, what the fuck, dude? Like, it was so good, man. It was so good. There's one picture. I think it's this next one. I mean, look at this.
Oh,
I mean,
Moto.
what a terrifying picture. I mean, he looks absolutely terrified that Buckley's
at
coming
this
at
point,
him.
Uriah's eye is completely closed, his left eye. It's swollen
Yeah,
shut.
swollen shut. And he has to have his right eye like extra open just to probably try to see anything. And at that point, your depth perception's gone, right? You don't know what's coming. You don't know where anything is. You don't know if you're in range or out of range. And I mean, this was a beatdown.
Yeah.
It was a beatdown.
Again, Duraev did not age well. Him saying that
No.
he took this because it was an easy fight.
Yeah. And you could tell Buckley took that personally.
Oh, dude, he was fighting with the chip on his shoulder. There's so much pressure from the very beginning. And you could tell that Duraev felt that pressure and that he knew he lost that first round because he showed more desperation in the second round. The takedown attempt seemed a little more desperate. So, dude, overall, it was just Joaquin Buckley.
How
the
cool would it
entire
have been if he? I don't even know what it was. It was like the end of the second. They called this in the third, right? The beginning of the
I
third.
want to say going into the third.
So I think it was the end of the second, probably like right after this, where Duraev's eyes swollen shut. So it's like, what time is it? When is it best to throw some flashy jumping shit? Probably when the guy only has one eye, right? Because he doesn't even know if you're in range. So Buckley runs at him and jumps up, does like a switch jumping side kick. I think you would call it. I don't even know what you would call it. Nowhere near, but like, how cool would that have been? And if anybody's going to pull it off, it's Buckley.
Look at that picture too.
Yeah.
What a cool. I mean, that's one that Buckley needs to frame.
Dude, if I'm Buckley, I'm framing this one right here. That is going. That's going like as soon as you walk in the front door of the house. That's what you should be greeted with. Either that or in the bathroom.
That's hilarious. Great night for Buckley though. Not so much for Duraev. They're both now 15-4.
Both 15-4. Yeah. Buckley at least has more promise on this. Shout out Baby Drew. Good to see y'all later in the evening. This is Baby Drew. Not sure if y'all remember me. Definitely one of the early OGs on the channel. Thanks for joining us.
I mean, how are you going to forget a name like Baby Drew? You know what I mean?
Can't do it. Can't
forget it.
Yeah.
Nice to see him back, though.
Yeah.
All right, man. Anything else, though, on that Buckley fight?
No, but I am glad. It was a very fun fight, and I think Buckley he showed some takedown defense that definitely was much needed. So I'm glad to see that, and I do hope. I know there's drama. Some people don't like him because of all the drama with the James Krause, but I want to see more exciting fights from him. So I'm glad he got the win. He looked phenomenal.
For sure. All right, we'll move on to the next fight. Next fight we're going to be covering is Magulov versus Kutateladze.
Kutateladze's been gone for so long, huh?
This was, yeah, Yeah. This was a good fight to kind of cleanse the palate a little bit because
Yeah, because it's
there's
been
so
crazy up
many
until this.
crazy
Yeah,
fights leading up to this. And not to say that this fight was boring, because this fight, very much like the main event, was a
very
very
technical.
clean, technical fight.
Yeah,
So for for a lot of the Austin fans that were there and were like, "What the hell's going on with this fight?" Like, have they
yeah,
not seen what they're supposed to be doing? Look at all the other guys and gals,
yeah,
Uh, but at some point, to kind of hear the crowd getting restless, and I think they even tried to boo at one
they booed a
point. And
little
I'm like,
bit.
dude, what are you doing?
Like, this is a great fight.
It's a
Man,
fantastic fight.
the striking and the grappling exchanges were they're so evenly matched. It was such a good match. When we previewed this episode and we saw these guys fighting, I think both of us were like, "Oh, that's a good one." And I think if Kutateladze was fighting this whole time and he wasn't out for like 2 years, I'm pretty sure he tore his ACL and then like re-injured it or something like that. I think he probably wins this fight. But Ismagulov, man, that jab, holy smokes. And the defensive wrestling was there. Again, kind of weird that they gave this to Ismagulov for fighting in a very similar manner that Kattar did. It's just weird
And
that
then with Kattar, they're like, nah.
they're like, we've had enough of this.
We saw it
We've-
once tonight, all right, buddy?
We've had our fill.
It's so funny. Dude, so I'm just going to read off my notes real quick because with both of these
Yeah.
guys, I just wrote down both of them rarely out of position. I
Yeah.
love the level changes, a lot of head movement, a lot of feints. It was hard for one or the other to kind of pick up a rhythm because there was just so much going on,
Yeah.
But that was just like the giant chess match that you just saw
Yeah.
between these two guys. And like I said, I really, really appreciated this matchup, especially after just the craziness and chaos that we had leading up to this fight.
it.
So
Yeah.
props to both guys, though, man. It was such a technical fight.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, yeah, I don't really know what else to say about it, to be honest. Just a very, very good fight. Both those guys are top notch, and it just kind of shows you how crazy that division is.
Is Magulov 24-1?
What was that?
Is Magulov 24-1?
Is he 24-1?
24-1, brother. 24-1. Let's take a look to see. I think they said 19-fight win streak after he had his hand raised. His
Fight win
last
streak. Yeah, I think
last
you're right.
loss came in 2015 against Ramazan Esenbaev. Ever heard of that guy?
That sounds familiar.
I've
The guy
never
that beat
heard
him?
of him.
Maybe I watched
That's
that
gotta
fight. Maybe last time he came up, I was like, let's see what his loss was. Maybe I try to find it or something because it does sound familiar.
Yeah, never heard of that guy in my life. But dude, this guy's on a tear, man.
Yeah.
This guy's on
Very
a tear.
good.
All right. We have a lot of fights to cover. We're 35 minutes in, right? So we'll kind of, I don't want to say breeze through them, but we'll just cover as much as we can.
Yeah.
Gregory Rodriguez versus Julian Marquez, the Cuban Missile Crisis
versus RoboCop.
Hey,
classic,
phenomenal
dude.
nicknames.
Dude, really, honestly, one of the better nickname matchups that we've seen.
Up there.
I think I saw someone that was like RoboCop 4, the Cuban Missile Crisis, or some shit like that.
Oh, that's perfect.
Classic.
They should have just cut a promo like that. I would rather see that promo versus seeing how Josh Emmett recovers after training during all that time that we're waiting in between. But man, Marquez.
This was crazy, man. This is a crazy fight.
I think this is the hardest I've ever seen Marquez get cracked. Man, this fight probably could have been called.
Just RoboCop.
He says this was such an insane fight. Says Baby Drew.
Yeah.
Again, this is probably the hardest I've ever seen Marquez get cracked. Showed a lot of heart in this fight.
Yeah, because I mean, right off the gate, RoboCop is cracking him, takes his back. It was so slick the way he took his back, and then ended up getting off, and then right back to cracking him. And I was like, man, this is. I even told Katie, like, after the first exchange, I was like, Marquez is getting knocked out in this fight just because he looked kind of slower and he wasn't really getting there, and RoboCop was just bop, 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 right in there.
Look at this picture.
I mean, yeah,
looping left hook.
Open.
And where is Rodriguez' shot? Where is it coming?
Yeah, just straight down the middle. Yeah.
Straight down the middle, man. Straight down the
Yeah.
middle.
Bruce Bobtrotter, shout out, says Julian Marquez deserved to get knocked out for his Miley Cyrus Be My Valentine nonsense. Like, shut up with that cringy nonsense, bro. It wasn't even that, honestly. It was that was okay for me because then Miley Cyrus like responded. She's like, I'm down. And then instead of like just going with it, Marquez was like, all right,
That was the
now
bad part.
he was like, now you got to do this or like he like,
Yeah.
all right, now you got to do this, post this video or something. And she was like, I'm out. I'm done. Like,
yeah, what are you doing?
Yeah, you did it.
You shot. Okay, you shoot your shot.
Yeah.
You shoot your shot. And then you run over there and you block yourself before the shot goes in.
Yeah, this right
What are you
here was
doing?
this is when he first called her out and he got the response.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And then she was like I'm down. And then Marquez was like, oh, okay.
Laid out. And Bruce
Yeah.
Bobtrotter says, love seeing cringy dudes like him get separated from consciousness.
Yeah.
Look, dude. And the thing is this, he reminds me of those like goofy WWE wrestlers with their cheesiest promos. You know what I mean? I kind of enjoy Julian Marquez. Are his promos super cheesy? Yeah, but he's in exciting fights.
And his fights are fun. No matter what, win or lose.
I thought you were
Dude
talking
cracks.
about his, like his finances, his funds. I was
Yeah,
like, where
his
we go
funds.
with this? What do you know that we don't know?
Yeah. Doesn't he have a podcast with a porn star?
Does he?
I'm pretty sure.
Good for him.
Bruce
yeah, the
Bobtrotter, I
podcast
might send you out on a mission if you want to try to find out Julian Marquez. I'm pretty sure he has a podcast with a porn star. If you put that in the comments, that'd be great.
Or Nat, because I can only imagine the type of comment that
The
Bruce
Google
Bobtrotter
search?
would send in.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, thanks for joining
This is the
us,
family
Bruce
show.
Bobtrotter, as always, man. But that was one of the quick fights.
Yeah, I mean, it was one of those things, like I said, RoboCop cracks him, takes his back, gets off, cracks him again. I'm like, this is it. But then Marquez started cracking him back, and RoboCop said, I'm RoboCop, and then just knocked him out. And that was it.
Exactly.
That was all she wrote.
All right. Quick fight. No cheesy promo for Bruce Bobtrotter. We'll move on to the next fight.
Yeah.
The next
this
fight
was my most exciting. This was what I was looking forward to the most.
Adrian Yanez versus Tony Kelly. Why were you so excited for this, Will?
Because Adrian Yanez, we've been watching him since a long time ago, right? Before he was in the UFC, and actually has commented on episodes of our show before, which is super cool.
Shout out Adrian Yanez.
Yeah, Bruce Bobtrotter says Beauty and the Beast podcast is Julian Marquez. Thank you, Bruce Bobtrotter. Appreciate that.
My guy.
Yeah. And so Adrian Yanez, we talked about it before. Rarely do we see somebody in MMA who has very good offense with their hands, but at the same time has incredible defense. And we talked about it earlier with Calvin Kattar. He doesn't pull himself out of position, but Adrian Yanez goes another step further. And even when you hit him and he's in position, much easier to take the shot. The way he is able to roll with shots and cut angles out is second to none. I said it last time, his last fight, that I haven't seen someone as good at that since John Jones. And I still stand by that because he looked absolutely incredible in this fight.
There was a part during this fight that made me kind of upset, right? And it's when was right after the fight. It might have been right after the fight. It was when Karen Bryan was like, "Hey, I asked Dean Thomas, which is a prospect that you're most excited to see, or which prospect should I look out for tonight?"
Yeah,
and she's like, and he told me Adrian Yanez, and you were right. And I was like, okay, calm down.
Yeah,
I don't consider
not exactly
Yanez
that
a prospect anymore.
No,
he's arrived. He has arrived. Anybody that's been watching the UFC for the last year and a half should know by now Adrian Yanez is the real deal, man.
Yeah,
he brings
very real.
Fight. He's super fast. He's got some of the best hands in his weight division. Like you said, his defense as well, his ability to roll with the punches, and not just roll with the punches, but counter off the roll as well.
Yep.
Dude, he's money, man. And usually going into his fights, a lot of respect, very calm.
Yeah.
A lot of drama here.
A lot of drama. Big drama show. But let's not forget.
Drama show.
Let's not forget. Yeah. Let's not forget. Tony Kelly was involved with some controversy last time we heard his name when he was cornering Andrea Lee. And what did he say? He's like that dirty
The
fucking
dirty,
Brazilian or something.
not our words.
Yeah, not
Those
our
are
words.
it.
Yeah,
Tony Kelly's
Tony
words.
Kelly's words. Listen, but yeah, so a lot of hate going into this. He said some stuff about Adrian Yanez going into it, and then middle of the fight, they're talking shit, and then Adrian Yanez is like, "All right, dude, cool. I'm just gonna knock you the fuck out," and he did. And the other thing I want to shout out for Adrian Yanez is, and this is something that he's done in the past, but in this one, it took another level. Last time it was the shoulder rolling, or not shoulder rolling necessarily, but just rolling with punches and making sure that he's in position for follow up shots. But in this one, the way he was able to not only do that, but also angle out, and he's always angled out really well. But dude was like, you remember in Dragon Ball Z where like once
Never watch it. Well, actually,
Goku,
I lie. I did watch it sometimes.
once Goku realized that he could of course the one time Rich isn't here. I can't think of the word, but it's when they can phase out. They're so fast that they can just like bop, 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 and like pop up behind somebody and then like da da da. That's
Like
what he was doing.
teleport?
Yeah, basically. I can't think of the fucking phrase right now, but dude, he was angling out and cracking Tony Kelly from like behind. Like Tony Kelly would be trying to counter, and Adrian Yanez is literally angled out and is around the corner hitting him still. It was insane. He's like, where am I getting hit from? Like, it was insane. Watching it, I was like, this guy is absolutely incredible. So good.
And props to his corner too, because I know that they saw something probably in film, and they probably thought, "Hey, Tony Kelly throws this left body kick, and he's very lazy after throwing that left body kick." Because over and over and over again, he would catch that left body kick, and
Yeah,
hit
and
him
then
with a heavy left hook, right in the face, multiple
Dude,
times.
one thing that MMA, I said it last week, but every once in a while there's like, this is the new thing, like calf kicks, right? And then we were like, oh, maybe attacking leg locks from guard is going to be the new thing just to get up. We haven't really seen it that much since then. We saw it a bunch that one night. It was crazy. But the new thing, dude, lead hooks, not check hooks, lead hooks.
Yeah.
That is coming through in MMA. And there's some guys who are at the top right now that are able to do it, and Adrian Yanez is one of them. And he was able to. His left body hook is really good, but up top is where this is going to start coming through. Jack Della is the other one who is very good with his lead left hook. Again, not a check hook, lead left hook like Roy Jones Jr. But Adrian Yanez, well, his lead hook was crazy. I mean, he would jump across the ring with it. Yeah,
that good,
dude. I mean, but I'm not saying he's like that, but I'm saying the strike like that lead left hook like Roy Jones Jr. Well, lead hook.
I see what you're saying. Okay. I thought you were comparing his lead left hook to the great Roy Jones Jr.
Not quite there. Not quite there. Baby Drew says love that photo. But
that's a fantastic photo.
But it's countering off a kick. Takes him right off his feet. But the other thing that Adrian Yanez was doing was Tony Kelly was fighting southpaw, right? So he was throwing that left body kick because that's what if you're open stance, right? You're not closed stance with somebody. You want to throw that rear body kick because it goes right across the midsection. But what that also does is it takes away that left hook to the body, right? Because if I'm southpaw, now my liver is facing you, and that left hook is not going to hit my liver. But dude, Yanez, his ability to cut those angles when he was angling out and stepping over the side, he's around the corner. Now the left hook is there again. Like he literally was getting himself into position to hit the left hook to the liver on a southpaw. Like that is so high level. I don't think I've ever seen it in MMA. Like you said, he is there. He is no longer a prospect.
No, dude. In my eyes, with his last few performances, I just didn't consider him a prospect anymore. Look at the
dude
face on Giannis here.
Look at the face on Tony Kelly.
Hurt him. Yeah, he's not. He doesn't know what's going on at that point.
And we can't show it, but right after this, I forgot the ref who was reffing this fight, but straight kicks Tony Kelly right in the face.
Oh, when he's jumping in, trying to
he stepped over him and he just kicks him right in the face.
Yeah, that was solid too.
It was a solid shot.
Between the shin from the ref and those blows from Giannis, you could tell.
I mean, again,
he's right there.
He's behind him, hitting him. I mean, the guy's angles are incredible. I mean, obviously we're high on him, but I mean, I was so impressed.
You know what? Because there's drama from a few different fights, and what I was thinking about this, especially after the Giannis fight. I was like, man, you know what's so fucking cool about MMA is that they
Yeah.
could have all this drama, and at the end,
And then they
they
fight.
settle it. They fight.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They
Well,
fight.
they kind of settled it in this one, but I forgot what I forgot the actual quote, but Tony Kelly was like, he's like, I wasn't out after the fight, and Adrian was like, you were out, and then he was like, you were out.
Wait, what?
Yeah, Tony Kelly was like, I was never out, and then Adrian was like, yeah, you were, and
But
then
then he
Tony
replied
Kelly
with,
was
"You
like,
were out."
no, you were out, and
That,
then Giannis said, you were facing the other way.
I mean, Tony Kelly was concussed. Let's be real here,
Yeah,
because to have like a first grader response to like,
no, you
no,
were
but
out,
you were.
dude. Watch the replay. You're on the ground looking the other way, getting kicked in the face by.
Interesting.
Interesting.
All right, next fight.
Yeah, moving into the prelims, I think, right?
Yes, props to Adrian Yanez. Now we'll move on. And I believe the fight before this was Jastovicius versus Silva,
Yep.
right? All right, so let's go and cover that. Natalia Silva.
Yeah, not much to talk about this, to be honest, because it was very one-sided. But I just wanted to shout it out because this division is absolute dog shit, and we finally are starting to get some talent in it. I mean, it is what it is, but Natalia Silva, those leg kicks beat up her leg instantly. Her counters were incredible, moving laterally. Jastovicius was just walking forward the whole time, getting lit up every time she'd counter. Silva's leaning out like Anderson Silva, just boom, boom, and she's gone out.
Jastovicius was 7-1 going into this, and after watching Natalia Silva's flawless performance, I thought to myself, "Is Jastovicius, should she be in the UFC?"
Like, dude, that's how dramatic it was. Yeah,
it was
perfect.
Like,
yeah,
a totally different level, man. Completely
different level.
Everything for Natalia just seems so natural in there.
Well, that's the thing. She took what Jastovicius was giving her and used it, right? Jastovicius initiated this clinch, and she's like, "Oh, okay, head and arm throw." She's walking in heavy on her lead leg, cool, blasting outside leg kicks. She comes in reckless, hit you with a couple pot shots, lean out of your shots, circle away. Literally everything she did was given to her by Jasmine. And that's
dude, her lateral movement too, nonstop.
Yeah.
Nonstop lateral movement. At the end of this fight, I thought to myself, have you seen a more flawless performance this year? Ooh. And I know that might be a little
recency bias hyperbole.
Yeah, just a little bit.
But it was flawless.
Dude, it was so good, man. And the thing is that we've seen really good performances where we, somebody might knock, like Rodriguez, we saw a great performance knocking Julian Marquez out that first round.
You got cracked.
But this was 3 straight rounds, 15 minutes of Natalia Silva with phenomenal footwork, high output, and her cardio was nonstop and just picking Jastovicius apart.
Yeah, I mean, I am so excited to see her next fight. Who was the girl that fought last week on the same card, or not on the same card, but in the same weight class?
Yeah,
the Bruce Bob tried to comment.
There's a family show, though, so we won't air that one, but just know.
It's hilarious.
It's just hilarious.
Yeah. What do you think?
Sorry, I was distracted, Will. What do you?
Yeah, but who was the girl? I can't think of her name now. She came in there and got the submission. She cracked her, got the takedown as she cracked her, and then got the submission. I cannot think of her name for the life of me. But she looked phenomenal, and finally we're starting to see some talent in this division. And I think in a couple more matchups, these girls are going to be at the top of the division, and it's going to be very fun.
Oh, yeah. I mean, as soon as this fight was over, I started thinking to myself, I mean, let's see here. Let me take a look at the division real quick.
It's crazy. This division makes you think, anytime you see a performance like this, you're like, title shot?
We got ourselves a contender.
Yeah.
the classic,
Yeah. The giant
line.
Yeah. But I mean, what I did think during this fight, though, is
against people in the top 10.
Yeah. For sure. And what I did think is, because the division is so shallow, if Silva does eventually fight Shevchenko, that it might be worse than Rose versus Carla. Because both are going to just Silva's just going to be laterally moving, waiting for Shevchenko to come in, and then Shevchenko's
Both of
just
them
going to be
waiting to counter.
standing there like Yoel Romero, waiting for Silva to come in, and they're just going to look at each other, and then Shevchenko's going to force a clinch situation because she doesn't know what to do when you don't walk into her, and then Silva's just going to toss her, and then they're going to get up and just do that for 5 rounds.
I mean, I'll watch it
Because
though.
I'll still watch it. Don't get me wrong.
All right. Anything else on that fight?
No. But
All
excited for Silva's next fight.
Me too. Top 5. So
Title shot,
the
man.
next fight we're gonna cover: Jeremiah Wells versus Court McGee.
Man, you hate to see Court McGee go down like that because he's just a very cool guy. Been in the UFC forever. When's the last time he was finished? Has he ever been finished?
I don't think so.
I can't pull up Tapology because I have a slideshow, but
I think they had said right that it had been a very long time since he had been finished.
I don't remember the
Let's
last
see
time he was
here.
finished.
Lost to punches versus Santiago Ponzinibbio back in
Ooh.
2016. So 6 years ago was the
6
last
years
time he
ago.
was finished.
Yeah.
6
And
years
wasn't
ago.
that the crazy eye poke fight too? I don't know. But yeah, you hate to see a guy like that go down like that. But going into this, I thought the odds were crazy. I was like, dude, Wells should be a massive favorite in this fight. I don't think people realize who this guy is. His last fight, he beat Blood Diamond, and everyone's like, Blood Diamond's dog shit. He's Izzy's boy, and he's so bad. Like, what is he thinking? And it's like, well, also, Wells is very good. How about that?
Yeah.
Like, what about that as an option?
He has so much power. And I was just thinking, did anybody on McGee's team do the research and say, hey, Wells has a lot of reach.
And
So-
is willing to use it.
Yes.
Because that's
So
the
maybe
big
instead
difference.
of just taking steps back,
Mhm.
using some of the Natalia Silva lateral movement, but
Yeah.
his steps needed to be so much larger than they actually were because he'd take a step
Yeah.
back and think he was out of range and pop.
Mhm.
He'd get caught with
And,
one.
yeah. Mm-hmm.
And that's actually how he got knocked out.
And it was quick. I mean, it was what, a minute and a half in, and eventually, yeah, he
Yep,
got cracked.
34,
And
round 1.
I mean, that's
Oh,
how quick it was.
that's a
Those were
nasty
really
shot
the only
there.
pictures I could find. There wasn't a lot of
Picture
fight.
of
Take pictures.
Jeremiah Wells just laying a hammer down on Court McGee while Court McGee seems to be out.
Gives a peace sign.
Oh, damn, he is giving the peace sign as he's getting punched. Look
He's
at
telling the
that.
ref, I'm good.
Yeah. I'm okay.
But this goes to show how cool Court McGee is because dude goes out there. He's on a resurgence, right? 3 fights in a row he's won, I think. And then gets flatlined like this. And then next thing you know, there they are backstage taking photos together. How cool is that?
What a sport, man. I freaking love the sport.
I know. Serious, like what other sport do you get
It's
that?
fantastic. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
But that was a quick fight. Jeremiah
Not much
Wells,
to talk
11-2 now. So,
11-2 now.
yep. Next, we'll go to
Another quick fight.
Ricardo Ramos versus Danny Chavez.
Dude, almost. He's been out for a while too, right? Because I remember his last fight, we were like, "Oh, I cannot wait to see him again," and then I feel like that was years ago.
Yeah, dude. Chavez.
Yeah,
So
like,
I
it was
don't
6
remember,
months
but
ago.
last week I was taking a look at the card and I was like, "Oh, Danny Chavez, man, exciting fights. Always down to
Yeah.
throw down, you know." And,
Yeah,
dude, Chavez looks so hyped coming into this, like energy off the wall, ready
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
to go. Ricardo Ramos looked the opposite. Just
yeah,
another day at the office.
hmm
Let me be patient. Let me pick my shots.
yeah. He said, "Let me pick my favorite shot. Let me pick my
That
favorite shot."
knockout.
Yeah, I wish there was better pictures because this is the best one they got. But if you looked at that and were like, "Hey, that's a knockout," you'd be like, "How?" But the way he sets traps on the cage, it's not lucky. He's not going in there and he's like, "I'm gonna try to throw this spinning back elbow." This isn't the first time he's got the knockout. He's setting the trap to corner you in the way where he knows exactly how to throw it because he just knows this. He knows this strike. I mean, I doubt he ever gets another one, but because now everyone's going to be like, "Oh, you're fighting him. Don't get corralled into the fence," because you're going to think that this is just like, "Oh, this is just how we're moving in the fight." But he is putting you in a very specific position to land this spinning back elbow, and he does. And I mean, instantly he was out, just on his feet, just frozen for a second. and Ramos just turns around and just hits him like a heavy bag for a second.
That was rough.
I
I mean,
mean,
because he's out. He's
he's out right
outstanding.
there. Yeah. It was just kind of frozen, like kind of teetering like a tree. And then
Yeah.
meanwhile, Ramos turns around and is like, oh, you're still up? Pop, 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 pop. It's like, oh my
Well, the
God.
ref also was like, "Is he?"
Yeah.
And also, it's Beltran, so
Yeah. He's
he'll
like,
give
I can let
the
you die
fighters
in there.
every opportunity in the world.
Yeah. Be a
Uh,
warrior.
yeah. But dude, yeah, it was pretty bad. And with with a spinning back elbow, that's
Mhm.
his second one. There's 5 spinning back elbow knockouts in the
Yeah.
history
How
of the
about
UFC,
that?
and he owns 2 of those.
Yeah. That's wild.
So to your point, it's not an accident.
It's not an accident. Don't lull yourself into the cage because he is putting you there. You're not choosing to go there. He is putting you there. He's literally lining you up.
Fantastic, man. Fantastic. Another quick fight though. So
Yeah,
we
I
can
mean,
move on.
how long was that? It was like
Minute 12.
minute 12. Beautiful. Short and
Minute
sweet,
12.
just how we like it.
Just like me. All right. Next up, we have
Shout out
Maria Oliveira.
Central
What's
Coast
up?
Fresh Fish. Fuck, I'm late. I kind of like this late night church episode.
Shout out for sure. But yeah,
Is that Josh?
we
I
have
don't know if that's
Oliveira.
Coleslaw. Coleslaw, let me know if
I
that's
think
you. Because he used to
I think that
pop
is,
in
isn't it?
as Josh Holtzclaw, but yeah. But yeah, where are we at?
Maria Oliveira versus Gloria De Paula.
Yeah. Spider Girl? Is that her nickname?
I think so. Spider Woman?
Recognize this
Spider
photo?
Girl? Something like that. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. Great job cropping that for the family show,
Absolutely.
bro. Great job cropping it. But
Yeah.
dude, okay. What's my favorite thing, Will?
Punches in bunches.
Punches and bunches. Dude, I was so excited. Oliveira. I'm a fan.
Yeah. So fun, dude.
I'm a fan.
Not because of the last photo, just because of the way she fights.
Hey, coleslaw, baby. It is. But dude, also
That's what's
like
up.
love that she's just squared up.
Yeah, just
and she just launches nonstop.
like
Just
Belfort
trying to mow
did back
somebody-
in the day.
Yes.
You know how
trying to mow
Belfort used to
somebody
close
down.
distance?
Oh yeah. Yeah. And dude, DePaula seemed overwhelmed the first round.
Yeah, but then she cracked back.
Yeah, she started making some necessary adjustments.
Yeah.
Knocking the mouth guard out. That was a
This
little
is
bit
what
awkward too.
a little bit awkward because the ref didn't see it, and she's like, and the ref's like, okay. He like took his sweet time, even though they weren't even in punching range, or like they were so out of range from each other. It's like, hey, now's the perfect time. And he's like, should I stop this?
All right, let's stop it.
Yeah, but
All
this is
right.
what I love. This is a fight where Oliveira is getting cracked like this, and then look at her. This is after that.
Dude,
so much fun
She
in there.
had this strategy where she licked the blood off her gloves and
Yeah,
then throw a punch.
yeah.
And so whichever hand she was licking blood off of, that's the hand she would throw next. And I was like,
so cool.
hey, she's gonna read that pretty soon. But she
Yeah,
didn't.
I did it
Because I think the
I read
entire
it.
time, yeah, I think the entire time Gloria DePaolo was just like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Why do you continue doing that? So she was so like taken back by her
Yeah.
licking the blood off her hands that she didn't think like, oh, she's about to throw the jab because
Mhm.
she just licked her left hand. Or you know
Yeah.
what I mean? Like
She's just like, what the hell?
it was
And then
such an interesting fight. Over 300 strikes thrown by Oliveira.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, dude, it was fun. It was a very fun fight. DePaula was there for it too. You know, it takes two to tango, but
Yep.
not the tightest technique from Oliveira, but
No,
very
but it's
exciting.
okay.
Yeah.
But it's okay because you know what? It made for a very entertaining fight.
We're here
Did she
for
get
fun
knocked out?
fights.
No, she didn't get knocked out. But you know
Yeah.
what? It was a blast.
It was a blast.
Dude, it was such a fun fight. I enjoyed
Yeah,
that
very
fight.
fun
Like I
fight.
said, I'm a big fan of punches and bunches. And
Mhm.
Oliveira knew I was watching, and she's like, "Let me give him what he wants."
Yeah.
And what a
But
performance!
one thing too is Andrade comes out. Jessica Andrade comes out. She's in her corner, right? And
Mhm.
all I could think of is who better to train with if you're Oliveira than somebody who not only is a very different frame than you, so it's very good to get those reps in, but also someone who is very short and crisp and not a lot of wasted space, left hooks to the body, just nice. She's a tank, right? No holes really from Andrade. So I'm excited to see kind of how Oliveira grows in that camp because if she can tighten up those holes, her raw talent is definitely there. I'm excited to
Yep.
see what's next for her.
Me too. Me too. All right. We'll go on to the next fight.
That looks like some
Kelly
Matrix shit.
Stamen
Josh
versus
says.
Eddie Wineland.
Yeah, pour one out. Eddie Wineland.
Yeah, retired after this fight, right?
As he should have. But man, what a career. Eddie Wineland back from the WEC days, just fun fights.
That was his 40th fight, man.
That's crazy. And it's
40th
not
fight.
surprising. Dude's been in there forever. I mean, an absolute legend of the sport, really. But
For sure. Used to
right
be a
out of the
WC
gate.
champ, right? For anybody that
Yeah.
didn't know. But hey,
Wasn't watching
nice to
back
see
then.
Stamen get back on the win column,
Yeah.
though.
I like Stamen. Well, his last fight was to get knocked out by Nurmagomedov. Was that him? Or was that Kelleher?
Let me see here. We have Saeed Nurmagomedov. Yes,
Yeah.
guillotine choke. Before
Okay.
that, he lost to Merab Valishvili
Hey, a bunch
by
of killers,
decision.
huh?
And before that, he lost to Jimmy Rivera.
Jimmy
So-
Rivera. And they're like, hey.
You know, he lost
I-
before that? Aljamain Sterling. So,
Are you serious?
yeah.
Damn.
Yeah.
Hey,
He's
if you're
fighting
choosing the
killers,
guys to
man.
lose to, that's who you lose to.
He's fighting killers. No, but dude,
Cracked
the
him
very
early.
first right hand
Yeah.
that landed hurt Wineland, and it was over from there. I mean, look
Yeah.
at that shot.
And props to Wineland. The chin held up technically, but it probably would have been better if it didn't. Because when he got cracked the first time, you could tell he was out of it. And Stamen just stayed on him and just followed him everywhere and was just beating him up everywhere it went until they finally had to stop it. And it was probably would have been better to just get knocked out on that first punch.
Probably. But dude, I see this picture, and it's a picture of Stamen
back up.
coming in with a massive right bomb, and Wineland's eyes is just somewhere off in the
Just
distance.
Staring off to the void.
And all I can
shadow realm.
hear is the the sound of silence.
Yeah.
You know, just playing in the background, dude. Because for somebody like you said that's watched Wineland for a while, this is pretty messed up to see. You'd like to see him get a win, but it might be a good thing because if he would have gotten this win, like going
like,
in,
"Oh, I
he
can
was
still do this."
telling during the interviews, he was telling people he still wanted to show people he still had some fight in him. He
Yeah.
wins this one, he probably continues stretching this out as long as he can. You know, and it sucks to see him go out this way, but it's definitely time. It's definitely
Yeah,
time.
Coleslaw calls out the Sugar Sean O'Malley knockout. That was the one punch, just out. And that would have been better in this one than what ended up happening. But that's not how the fight game goes.
Hey, you win some, you lose some. You know what I mean?
You win some, you lose some, you know. It's
Sometimes you're
doggy
the
dog
hammer.
world.
Sometimes you're the nail.
Yeah. Speaking of
Hey.
hammer and nail, how about we move on to the next one?
Win versus Haas. Win versus Haas.
Shout out Gilroy.
Hey, let me ask you this: would Darren Wynn be in the UFC right now if it weren't for DC?
Oh,
Right.
I
I think this is one of those things where it was a favor to DC in the relationship that Daniel Cormier has with UFC, with the UFC brass, with Dana.
Yeah.
I mean, look, dude, I'm sitting here talking about Darren Wynn. He would kick my ass without a doubt.
The dude's a killer.
But there's levels to this.
Yeah, well, dude, this matchup was fucking crazy. When they announced this, I was like, what are we doing? Phil Haas is like, speaking of Matrix shit.
Dude, he like, I know that reach isn't everything and size isn't everything, you know.
Yeah.
But when you're Darren Wynn and you get okay, let's put it this way.
Okay.
We talk about John Jones and
Yeah.
his frame being perfect for his weight class in MMA.
Yeah.
We talk about Adesanya and him
Mhm.
being perfect for the weight class because of his frame. He's long, he's lanky, he's tall.
Kevin Holland at welterweight.
Absolutely. And then there's Darren Wynn.
Yeah. 5'6"
fighting
at middleweight.
at middleweight.
Yeah.
Small, he's
The
stocky.
same division of Izzy. Izzy is 6'4".
Perfect for rugby.
Yeah.
He'd be a
Dude,
great rugby player.
imagine him fighting Izzy. Izzy is 10 inches taller than him.
This is nuts. What are
10
we doing?
inches. Yeah.
I mean, he's already in a terrible weight division. Haas, who again, this is another guy that has a perfect frame for the division he's in, working off
Yep.
his jab. And you talk about another fantastic performance. He couldn't miss. He couldn't
Flawless
miss.
performance.
And I
Dude,
felt like
was this
if
the fight
Haas
that
would have thrown a jab with his eyes closed and he was way
he would have
off,
landed?
Win would have fucking jumped into his hand. Like he
Yeah.
just couldn't miss.
Yeah. Was this the fight that at the end of the first round they were like, "Hey, so and so's at 76% striking accuracy right now."
Yes.
Was that this
Yes,
one?
that was
Okay, yeah,
Haas.
because it
That
was
Haas.
crazy.
Because right before the end of the first round, I want to say there was like 30 seconds left, and they showed the stats, and he was like at 72% or something crazy
Yeah.
like that.
I think
was landing everything he was throwing.
he landed more in the first round than he had in any fight in his career so far.
I felt bad for Win.
Me too.
This
Dude's
is
tough
an
as nails.
example of somebody being too tough for their own good.
This
Like,
is
you saw him,
this
like,
is
walking back to his corner.
yeah.
And
This picture right here was in the first round, and
rough.
it did not end in the first round. How about
Yeah.
after the fight? Did you catch that?
I did, but before we talk about that, I just wanted to say one more thing.
Yeah.
Right? And when we talk about his frame, okay, you'll see like a Wills. We talked about somebody that has the reach, and he
Mhm.
extends because he knows he's going to land.
Yeah.
And then you have my guy over here in Win, where I don't know if you noticed, every single time he extended with the left, his right arm dropped so far down, and it just left him so wide open, man. And he just kept on going back to the exact same thing over and over again. Not to say that he didn't catch Haas at all during the fight, because he caught him a couple times during some wild exchanges where he responded. But
I mean, he was
dude,
in it sometimes, and that's probably the
like 10
hardest thing
seconds.
as a fighter. But that's probably the hardest thing as a fighter, because then you're like, I can do this, because it's like even a little bit of success. I mean, you're concussed.
You looked at the camera and you said, I could do this. And for some reason, your camera just zoomed in on you.
No,
Right when you said that. Yeah, dude, I'm dead serious, man. You're
I
that
think
or
that's
your
just how-
aura
I
around you
think that's
just
just how
popped out.
intense I am.
Oh, man, that's pretty good. You're good at
Hey, what
this.
happened? We start going off the rails a little bit after an hour, or what?
Oh, yeah. Is that what it is? All right.
But you did see the after the fight when DC got in the cage with him with Phil Haas.
So I didn't see it because ESPN didn't show that. ESPN Plus.
Did you hear
I
about
read
it?
about it.
Okay.
You picked the wrong pony? Is that what he told him?
Yeah, Phil Haas was like, you picked the wrong guy for Darren Wynn to fight, basically, because DC and Darren Wynn are clearly boys, right? He looks like a clone of him. And I can't play it because it's a UFC feed, and I'm pretty sure they'll pull the video down, which is fucking horseshit. But DC's like, what'd you say? Because he's going in there to interview him, right? And he's like, what'd you say? And he's like, pick the wrong guy. I'm not the matchup. I'm not the matchup for him. And then DC's like, do you think that I wanted this matchup? He's like, after what just happened, do you think I wanted this? And it's like, damn. DC was probably like, do not take this fight. This is a bad fight for you. And still it happened, right? DC's not his manager. But just to see DC say that was kind of crazy. And then he was like, and then he said something else. Phil Haas said something else. And then he started trying to retract it. But then at that point, DC was off already. And he was like, oh yeah, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have come at you like that. And he's like, hey, you didn't fight me right now. You didn't match up with me. You didn't just beat me. And Phil Haas was like, yeah, no, my bad. And he's like, you did not just beat me. And it's like, DC's just terrifying. Like,
He's about to just rip his suit off, dude.
It was, yeah. I saw a comment that someone was like, damn, Phil Haas probably saw the singlet inside DC's suit and just immediately retract it. I mean,
oh man,
dude, as soon as he's like, you didn't just beat me, and Phil Haas was like, oh god, what did I just do? But he's in the moment. He just beat the brakes off somebody, and I feel like in that situation, the adrenaline that you have is probably so crazy when you win a fight like that. Just crazy. Baby Drew says, I thought DC was going to grab homie's throat.
That'd be the most gangster thing ever.
Yeah, definitely try to find that video if you can. We can't show it, obviously, but it was something to be seen. Yeah, it reminded me of when Colby beat somebody, and then Bisping's interviewing him, and he starts kind of talking shit about Bisping. And he's like, "The fuck did you just say to me?" And it's like, "Oh wait, yeah, these guys aren't just the guys interviewing. Like these guys are champions, Yeah,
for sure. All right, man. We'll go on to the last one here.
Last one.
We'll cover Roman Dolidze versus Kyle Dawkins.
Yeah. This one,
minute 13 again.
I I came so close to picking Delize because I am not that high on the Dawkins brothers, if I'm being honest.
I was shocked that in our little like pick'em league that nobody else
Mhm.
had picked Dawkins because Roman Delize is an
You mean
absolute
Delize?
savage, man.
Because I think everybody
Yeah,
picked Dawkins, right?
yeah, and that's what I'm saying. I'm
Yeah.
surprised everybody picked Dawkins. Nobody picked
I was
Delize.
so close. I was so close to picking him, Delize. Just because I think he had kind of one boring fight in his last fight, and everyone kind of just thinks he's a boring fighter. But he's had some good fights. But people just remember the last ones. Um, the knee or the headbutt, sorry, was unfortunate, and
Yep.
I was kind of like, "What's the rush here?" They seemed like they were kind of trying to rush him to get back to the fight, which was a little weird. Um, and then kind of immediately after, Delize pressured him against the cage, and then caved his skull in with a knee. I mean, did you see him after?
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
I
I
mean,
think that he knew that was a very hard headbutt. Might have been dazed a little bit, and he's like,
yeah,
I need to seize the opportunity.
yeah. And I mean, Dawkins, what are we doing here? Two significant headbutts in his last fight wasn't Holland, right? He had one before,
No,
one in
the one
between.
before his last one here. Let's pull it up right now. But yes, you're right. Against Kevin Holland.
He had a bad headbutt. Luckily for him, that time it worked in his favor, but it doesn't always. I'm not saying he's doing it intentionally, but
Yeah, so
you
he beat Jamie Pickett, and then
okay?
before that's when there was the no
Terrible
contest
fight.
with Kevin
Yeah,
Holland. Lost to Phil Haas before that. Lost to Brendan Allen.
yeah, and those were beatdowns, right? From what I remember. But so headbutt happens. He knees him in the head, and how about Delize's face as he's going for the kill?
Oh, scary individual.
I mean, that is terrifying.
Scary individual.
That is terrifying. And a
Delize
little,
now 10-1 though.
yeah, very good. I should have picked him. I was so close. Um, oh well, but kind of a graphic photo of Dawkins coming up here with his skull caved in. Not good. For
Orbital.
sure. For sure. All this is broken.
All this had
All
to
of
happen.
this stuff. All this stuff. Bob Sapp
Yeah.
versus Mirko Krokop.
All right. Hey,
Old
that
school
was
shit.
it. We covered the entire card.
That was it.
Didn't leave
It only
any
took us
fights
an
out.
hour and 12 minutes.
Jeez. Moment of silence.
Yeah, moment of silence. Nothing crazy. I think. Oh man, never mind. There's a lot. Or no, that's the performance bonuses. Marquez was supposed to fight Wellington Turman. Turman withdrew. RoboCop stepped in and annihilated the Cuban Missile Crisis. And Joe Lozon versus Donald Cerrone was pulled
I
night
was sad
before.
about that one again.
Yeah, his knee locked up real bad. Did you see the video?
No.
Kind of crazy. Knee locked up. Can't fight with that, obviously. Dana says, we are not going to rebook this because this is not going to happen twice. And then it happened twice. It shouldn't happen 3 times. You're muted, by the way. Okay.
Yeah. No. I didn't say anything though.
Okay.
Like clearing my throat, and I don't want to do it on the mic. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But that's it as far as fights canceled.
Performance bonuses though.
This is the long list. So Kattar versus Emmett got fight of the night. I almost feel like that's kind of a, I don't know, maybe, yeah, maybe that's a good fight of the night. Tim Means and Kevin Holland. Holland got a bonus. Buckley got a bonus for his beatdown. RoboCop got a bonus for his beatdown. Adrian Yanez got a bonus for his beatdown. Jeremiah Wells got a bonus for his one-punch knockout. Hamos got a bonus for his spinning back elbow. Stammen got a bonus for retiring Eddie Wineland. Phil Haas got a bonus for beating the absolute shit out of Darren Wynn. And Delize got a bonus for breaking Dawkins' face. Yeah. A lot of bonuses.
This is how UFC has to do it, man. If they want more,
it'll break our budget.
This is the way to do it.
Yeah. And this has been happening. This has happened now 3 times this year, I feel, where everybody who got a finish gets a bonus. I think this is the 3rd time. I know UFC London was one of them. I think there was another one, too, where they did this. And I feel like that is what you need to do. You give a bonus for finishes.
Yep. I love it.
Every time.
I love it. All right, man. Anything else?
Yeah, we had one of the most historic kickboxing fights in all of kickboxing, and nobody could watch it. How about that?
But you did.
but I did. Real quick, we won't go on too long about this because everybody hates this anime shit. But dude, Ryzen has the kickboxing, right? Rise. Tenshin is like a god. He's the prodigy. He's incredible. He fought Mayweather. That's what everybody knows him for. He lost. He cried. That's what everybody jokes about. But outside of that performance, he is absolutely incredible. He pulls shit off that I've never seen before. He is so top tier. And then Takeru, who is not quite as technical or technically sound, but the dude cracks, and he's the K1 champion, K1 kickboxing, absolute legend. Ryzen and K1 came together to make this fight. They called it the match. I mean, for people who don't follow, this is like if GSP fought Anderson Silva in their prime, or if Fedor came over and fought Randy in their primes. Like, this is massive. So massive that the UFC's record for their ticket sales, 17 million when Conor fought Eddie Alvarez. $17 million. That's the UFC record all time. This was over 25 million on the gate. Absolutely massive. We just don't know the fighters over here, so it wasn't a big deal here. But it is so massive. And Sakakibara, the guy that ran Pride, who got Pride dissolved because of his ties to the Yakuza, he runs Ryzen. And like two weeks before this fight, they're like, oh, hey, Fuji TV is actually backing out. And everyone's like, why? And it's like, Sakakibara's ties to Yakuza still exist. And Fuji TV wants no part of it. And you're like, stop destroying all of these Japanese MMA organizations that you build up, and they're so cool. Dish the Yakuza. So Fuji TV drops out. No national broadcast in Japan, which is massive because they don't have pay-per-views the same way that we have pay-per-views. It's not the same. It's all on TV. That's how everybody watches it. So no one can watch it on TV in Japan. And all the streaming services are backing out now because Fuji TV backed out. They don't want to be associated with the Yakuza either. So no international pay-per-view. Only one pay-per-view exists of this fight, and it's in Japan, and they're very strict on VPNs, very hard to watch live. So I had to go to bed like a fucking idiot because it was in the middle of the night. I wanted to watch it so bad. But luckily, it's the internet, so it's everywhere now online. So everybody needs to watch this fight because it was fucking awesome. They kind of fucked up. They made it 3 rounds. Probably should have been 5. But usually a fight like this at this caliber, when it finally happens, you're like, everyone's too scared to go. They're too scared to initiate, right? These guys go out there and they're fucking swinging. It is so good. Like, and the crowd, I mean, $26 million they sold in ticket sales. I don't know how many people there. Must have been like 50, 60,000 people. And it is electric. Every single action, the crowd is going crazy. It was so cool. Everybody needs to watch it. Tenshin versus Takeru. I don't care if Sakakibara fucked it up and it wasn't on TV. It's a bummer I didn't get to watch it live, but it's also in Japan, so it's fucking middle of the night anyways. It exists still. It happened. And I'm so happy it happened because this was incredible. Everyone needs to watch it. So good.
Do we still have anybody listening?
We have 7 people listening. Go to Vimeo. Search Tenshin versus Takeru. It's on Vimeo. Watch that shit. Electric. I don't care. Everyone's like, oh, I don't know these people in Ryzen. I don't know these people. Why am I going to watch? Look, all these people, Yichiri Prohaska is the fucking champ now. Everybody loves him. But guess what? He had a whole career in Ryzen that you could have watched, but I don't know who he is, so I'm not going to watch him. And yet, now here he is and everyone loves him. This is all existing. This all exists over there. Just fucking watch it.
This is hilarious. Hey, are you tied with the Yakuza too?
Fuck, I
Tell me
wish,
the truth
dude.
right now. Tell me the truth. Dude, the way that you're pushing Ryzen, I think you got some ties with them.
Bro, Yichiri Prohaska. That's all you have to say to push Ryzen.
Yeah.
That type of shit exists.
I just want to make sure people understand I'm not tied to the Yakuza.
Yeah.
But awesome.
Man.
Awesome. Right. Dude, you sold it. I'll go watch it right now.
I literally texted you the link.
I know, dude.
And I was like, hey, we're going to talk about this. We're going to talk about this. It's like, it's 3 3-minute rounds.
Yeah, dude, so long.
And I was like, we're going to talk about it. And you're like, oh, okay, cool. And then just still didn't watch it.
No dad shit today, dude. All right,
I
man.
get it, dude. Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's Day again to all the dads listening, right? Anybody that's tuning in, Maybe you're not tuning in exactly on Father's Day, so belated Father's Day to whoever tunes in later on.
Yeah.
And again, if this is your first time watching us, and if you even remotely like our content, please like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. We broke the 1,000 mark.
We broke the 1,000 mark. Very cool.
More than 1,000 subscribers.
I mean, dude, when we started this, I did not think we'd be doing this 2 years later and with 1,000 subscribers. It's cool.
Has it been 2 years?
I think it's about to be, I think.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow.
Time flies when you're having fun, huh?
Yeah. Talking about Ryzen getting shit on.
And what else? Let me see. Oh, yeah. Social media.
Yeah, at Story of the Fight everywhere. TikTok, Instagram, Reddit, Twitter. Yeah, that's pretty much it. Do we want to preview the next episode that we'll be talking about next week?
We're about an hour and a half in already.
Armin Saryukin versus Gamrot. Very good fight.
There we go. All right. Thanks,
Neil
everybody,
Magny
for
versus
tuning in.
Shockfight Rachmanov.
Dude, we could have done this instead of covering tension.
Dude, Chris Curtis versus Rodolfo Vieira.
All right, everybody. Thanks for listening to another week of Story of the Fight. Shout out Coleslaw. Shout out Baby Drew.
Baby Drew, Bruce Bob Trotter.
Bob Trotter always coming through.
I know HLB Comer will be there soon. Watching it later. Shout out Andrew Toasty. Fought for a lightweight title up in SF Combat over the weekend.
That's right.
Respect.
Jacob the Tiger just had a fight too. Another Story of the Fight alum. Good times, man. Good times the last couple of years. Thanks for listening. Another week of Story of the Fight.